Hey there, this is JB, an animator from World Anime Networks, and I will be walking you through the process of in-betweening. First is to fill in the timesheet. The timesheet is where the timing for the animation is written. It mostly details the duration of the cut, how long the exposure is on a frame, how many in-betweens there are between keyframes, and so on and so forth. The second column is where the in-betweener should write the timing, but since someone wrote on it, I'll be moving a bit to the right. So it starts with 1, of course. Now, see these little lines here? This indicates an in-between. So we should just continue on with the numbering. Oh, bear in mind that for each keyframes, we need to put a circle around their numbers. Same goes for B, although you may notice there is an X there. It means there is no active keyframe in here. You'll see later on. We use stylus for in-betweening. In this little window over here, we have a couple of different tabs. This is for layouts. Obviously, here is where the layouts will go, along with the timesheet. Next tab is for the keyframes. The drawing from cleanup artists goes in here along with the correction frames if there are any. In this case, there are none. This is where the in-between sheets are. To start in between, we will first trace the keyframes drawn by the cleanup artists. I prefer to put the opacity of the keyframe onto 50%. We want to make sure that the lines are as accurate as possible to the cleanup artist's drawing. Oh, we use the line tool, by the way. Well, we use the brush as well, but the line tool makes it more smoother, more professional looking. It also is much more convenient and easy. Okay, I'm done tracing facing A1. Next is the second keyframe, which is A4. In anime, eyes are very important since they are usually the ones that gives the characters emotions and are mostly the ones that are focused on by the viewers. So we put in extra time and effort to make it look pretty. Now we're putting some colors in. We mostly put colors in the shadow parts of the character. For hair, we put blue, pink for clothing, in which in this case there are none, and for skin we use tan, peach for blush, and yellow for highlights. Shadows for eyes are light blue. I've used purple to fill in for the other colors just to really give out the intent that this part is in shadow. So, let's proceed with in-betweening, the fun part. Now first, what is in-betweening? You can look it up for a more articulate definition, but it's basically drawing between the keyframes so that it looks like it's moving smoothly from one keyframe onto the next. As you can see, I've assigned colors on each frame and put it on halftone to make their difference much more visible so as to not cause confusion while in-betweening. Stylus has this function in which we can drag the keyframes closer to each other, and with a press of a button, the keyframes snap back to the center. I kinda got confused there, so I put numbering on the lines just to be sure. While I in between there, look over to the lower part of the second window on the right. You can see there are different layers with colors assigned to them. At the top, we have black or the actual lines. Reds are for highlights or blush. Green is for blush as well, depends on the studio. Some studios prefer their blush to be in a separate layer from the highlights, so we put them on the greens. It also serves as second highlight or second shadow. Blues are for shadows. Turquoise is mostly used for writing the sheet number or an indicator that it's a negative or white space. They will be removed in the painting process. A2 is finished now. Let's proceed with A3. I'll now be in betweening A2 and A4. Since the head tilts a bit, the angle of the eyes on A4 doesn't really match the eyes in A1. Now, to make our work more easy and efficient, I'll be drawing a guide on A1 by tilting and putting A4 on where A1's open eye should be. Now, for A3, we won't be in betweening the eyes for A2 and A4. Instead, it'll straightly be an open eye, since that's a rule here. So what's after a half open eye depends on what is on the succeeding frame, if it's either a closed eye or a open eye. If it's either a closed eye or an open eye. So yep, I may have forgotten to trace the mouth, but here it is. Just the same method. This is the in-betweening for the mouth. Nothing much to say except keep the width of the open mouth. For the mouth flaps though, the upper lip will move a tiny bit, whereas the bottom lip will be in between accordingly. Oh, remember the mouths on the in-betweens on the character? Basically, B1 and 2 will be pasted on top of the closed mouth of A4 to portray the lip sync. You'll see later on. And now plotting. I just copied what is on the timesheet onto the tiny little window over here. And then press play. So yeah, she's moving. I think she's trying to say to subscribe to World Anime Networks for more content regarding animation and all that jazz. Also, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Okay, thanks, bye.